This will be a movie review from an author's or writer's perspective. The name of the movie is Ladies in Retirement, and it was filmed in 1941, produced by Columbia Pictures, and directed by Charles Vidor. The writers for this film or script were Garrett Fort and Reginald Denham. My name is Regina Shannon, and I write fiction books. This movie review will be from the perspective of a writer. The movie starred Ida Lupino, who played the starring role as Ellen Creed. She was an English actress born in 1918, but made most of her movies in the United States. As a point of interest, she came from two generations of theater people, but she did start her own production company in the midst of the Hollywood studio system, and this was a pretty daring move in those years for a woman, if you ask me. Now, the movie also starred Louis Hayward, who was married to Ida Lupino during the filming of this movie. He played Ellen Creed's long-lost nephew by marriage. He played a charming, thieving gigolo type, and he aced the part. Another character actress who outdid herself was Isabel Elsom, who played Leonora Fisk, an old retired showgirl who was kept by several men of her day. I'm not an expert on acting, but in my opinion, she stole the movie. She is a great study for writers of a rich character who moves the plot along and was great comic relief as well. Between her facial expressions, the way she moved, the singing, the scoffing, the hand-waving, the lording over her handmaidens, she was a riot. Now, as the story opens, we learn that Ellen Creed's family has fallen on hard times, and she winds up being a handmaiden of sorts to this ex-chorus girl, Leona Fisk, who now owns their family home. Ellen has been reduced to a common servant. Ellen gets a letter threatening to throw her two sisters out of their living arrangement if she cannot get them settled. At the same time, Mrs. Fisk gives Ellen an assignment to go to London to pass a note to a lord she knows. Ellen manipulates a little bit and gets Mrs. Fisk to agree that her sisters can come for a few days' visit. But Ellen secretly knows she will be bringing back her sisters to live there. While she's gone, her long-lost nephew shows up needing money. All of this family dysfunction falls onto Ellen's shoulders, and the noir part of the movie is about what happens when the stress gets to be too much. So what can an author learn from watching Ladies in Retirement? Let's look at the atmosphere first. There are great shots that give a very gothic atmosphere, including the horse and cart ride, as well as the layout of the mansion house Leonora and Ellen live in. New authors can slide into the white room syndrome from forgetting about giving the characters a stage and a background. This is a great movie to steal a few stills from and write up the descriptions. This exercise will build a roster of backdrops and stages in your imagination. Now let's look at the scenery and the set descriptions. You can tell that each shot in this movie was set up and framed by the director because each scene fills up the entire shot. Unlike many modern movies that go from one close-up to the next, this movie shows the actors acting across a room, interacting with each other, each one hitting their marks and interacting with props. It can help any new writer learn about giving the characters movement within the scene at the same time they are delivering their lines and moving the action forward. The next area for writers to focus on is costuming and how the film was anchored in time. This particular film was anchored, quote, in the olden days, but there was not one specific time period mentioned. The long dresses, the bun hairstyles, Fiona's shawl, and the nephew's clothing and manners were enough to anchor this film in a generic olden times. It's important for a new author to recognize that this anchoring takes place in every scene. There are props and backdrops in every scene that are keeping this a period piece. This is important to learn for writing in general. And now let's look at the acting and the character development. Now, like I said earlier, I'm not an authority on acting. And as a disclaimer, every single actor in the movie did a better job than I could have ever done. But that being said, the acting itself can teach about showing stress. When I first watched the movie, I thought Ida Lupino was too stoic and not sympathetic enough. But upon a second viewing, I saw that she was showing how much stress she was under with the responsibilities of her own financial woes and the responsibilities of her two crazy sisters. Ida Lupino seemed a bit too serious when I originally watched the movie. But when I went back to rewatch a few scenes in preparation for this review, it occurred to me that her dour look was more about how much pressure she was under as the caretaker for her two sisters and the strain of her own financial woes. She did a great job looking like a young woman under a lot of stress. One other lesson from this movie would be how the character of Leonora was made up of her costuming, her movements, her dialogue, hairstyle, the singing, the bossing of the servants, flirting with the young nephew, the glasses. She used everything, and this was an example of great character development. Now, this character may have been this great in the script, but I never saw the actual script. I just know that the actress did an amazing job at creating a fully fleshed out character for this film noir. The one area that I think was lacking in the movie was the characterizations of the two sisters. The script referred to them as unsettled, but it was unclear as to whether they were just high management or had mental issues. Because Elsa Lanchester was such a great character actress, I assumed this was either a directorial flaw or maybe they were just limited by the time of the entire movie and decided to just clip the sisters' characters. But as a novel writer, I saw great potential for two more great characters in the sisters. They could have been further developed and made into funny characters or strange or even a bit spooky and weird. Like I said, there was just great potential for depth here. Now let's look at the screenplay. The final focus is the script, the language, and the dialogue. The script was good. It was original. It was concise and tight, and it had a twist at the end. It seemed like an interesting drama at first, but then suddenly went noir towards the end, which was unexpected. I enjoyed the entire movie and would watch this movie again. I'm sure I would pick up other things on a second watching as well. If I was asked to recommend a movie to learn about tightening a writer's scenes and how to add movement and interest to your scenes, it would be this one. The atmosphere was also a good one, especially if you write gothic, noir, or historical fiction. So I hope you enjoyed the video and let me know if you've seen the movie and what you thought about it. Let me know if you have any recommendations for movies in this particular genre because I really enjoyed this one and would love to see others just like it. So thanks for watching. If you liked the video or learned anything, I hope you will give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. To the right are all of my books that are available for purchase on Amazon.com. Most of them are in Kindle Unlimited. I'll see you in the next video.